Welcome to another episode of the Cannabis Coffee Crew, where the coffee is strong, the cannabis is smooth, and the conversations are out of this world.
Boom squad in the house. I lower the boom when I do the cipher dance. When it's just Aggie Pants as I romance the blast. I take puffs on stuff, rough enough to give a buzz to my guns, even though we don't touch the stuff. See this blood in my foot, some say my stink, but yo, the stuff helps me think.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic Friday. We are here to do another podcast, obviously. So let's get into our smoke session this morning and see what's going on. Bolt, what you got going on, man?
I still have my grape pie somewhere. I've lost the pen, but we're actually smoking some. I think it's like THCA right now.
Word.
I just finished my cup of coffee, so I need to go get some more. But let's check in over on Pandar and see how you're doing. Pandar, how are you?
Pandar also needs more coffee. We're getting bad at this, man.
I know. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm real bad at this. I ain't got no weed.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Who are we and what have we done? It's fine. We're getting our shit together. We're going to make this Friday go amazing.
Amanda, if we ever, so just as an FYI, I want to become the weed of, like the Santa Claus of weed. If we ever have enough
expendable
income. Thank you. That's the phrase I was looking for. But if we ever have enough expendable income, I just want to be like, and you get a pound, and you get a pound, and you get a pound.
So not the Santa Claus. It's more like it's
the Oprah Winfrey of weed.
No,
except I won't associate with. Except I won't associate with Diddy.
You'll be ganja Claus,
in stoner terms, it is considered a weed fairy.
Ooh, oh. Cool, dude! I'll put wings on.
Bro,
put a leotard on, and
I am here for this. Oh, I'm here for this. Let me see them thighs in a leotard.
Oh my god!
Just leave the weed outside. I'll pick it up.
Nope, right. You get the full view.
Next,
Itsu, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm not actually smoking on anything right now, but I am drinking some Simply Cranberry spiked cranberry. It's actually very good. We've been drinking that over the holidays. I got like 2 left, so I'm sad. Instant depression. Yeah. Sincere, what's up?
What's up? I have come across some very, very tasty flour, and I am trying my best to stretch it as long as possible because I feel like it's not every day you get the tastiest strain out there. So now I got it. I'm like, I go back and forth, like I'm smoking it now, but I'm like, I find myself putting it out because I'm like, damn, I'm gonna want some of this later, and I just know eventually it's gonna.
Like, I gotta savor it. I gotta savor it.
Savor it.
I'm trying to savor it. It is so tasty. I have it's like got a lot of the limonene terpenes. Ooh. And those are just my absolute favorite. It's so fruity tasting and citrusy at the same time.
Yeah, citrus is really good. I like a lot. What y'all just missed is Folt standing up to go get coffee and forgetting to take his earbuds out. You're not on blast. Sorry, it was really funny and I had to share that.
It was not funny.
Yes, it was.
So I don't think I've gotten to share with you guys, but I have captured a black widow and have decided to domesticate it.
I'm not coming to your house.
Nice.
Bree, that's the way to keep me at your house when we come visit.
So it's actually going to be my shop pet. I've gotten permission to keep it housed at the shop. That's where I found it, was in the shop. So it only felt right. But yesterday I got an official like spider enclosure and decorated it all nice with like plants and bark. And my spider, I'm sitting here at the kitchen table now because I brought her home to transfer the enclosure. But I cannot stop just sitting at this table when I smoke and just watching this spider exist. It is so cool. I don't know how it's like, I do not see it on the scary side. Everybody has had that same reaction. Like, you're fucking crazy. I'm not coming over. But I'm like, if you guys took a moment and just watched this thing exist, like it is so interesting.
I don't disagree with your statement that it might be interesting, but I
But
got too many heebie-jeebies to sit there and watch.
The
And even just
heebie-jeebies.
listening to you describe it, my nose and my face is cringing more and more. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my
I've
God.
never heard someone this excited
No.
to talk about a
Well,
spider is my thing.
Isn't there some like maybe I'm wrong, but I thought there was some culture that like looked up to spiders or
The
idolized
Chinese.
them.
Really?
The Chinese. So ancient Chinese proverbs suggest that chaos among thee is the confusion within thee. Our external environment is often a reflection of our internal state of consciousness. And I don't know if you guys want me to read the entire thing, but it goes on to talk about in shamanic ideology, Black widows are the protector of the home and a representation of an evolving spirit.
Hmm.
I thought both of those points. I read this. It's like a full,
I'm still
article on this author was. It's called Black Widow Wisdom, but it's essentially like an elongated poem, but she incorporates like those different perspectives in there and brings them together to just talk about how like the Black Widow, like is super intricate, and it's viewed as something super dangerous, but it's actually very delicate and deliberate.
I
Like,
do not doubt that. I will just still nope the fuck away because it can kill me and I'm good.
it cannot kill you. It can
I'm
kill
not gonna
people who
fuck
have
around and
like
find out.
extremely poor health. It could possibly kill a baby, but like I've been watching videos on it. It's not as dangerous as people think. Like if I were to handle this spider and it bit me, I wouldn't have to rush to the hospital. Like only certain people have extreme reactions, and it's people who have like say you have severe asthma. It can make your chest lock up, but
Oh
your
shit, I'm fucked.
healthy person, the average healthy person is going to be affected like a wasp sting. Like you're going to have muscle cramping in the area. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's not like a brown recluse. Like you're not going to see your skin start eating itself. You're not going to be like deathly sick in minutes. Like black widows are not as dangerous as people think.
I don't want
Well,
any spider near me.
I don't believe it.
And males males are non-poisonous. So if you had a male, that one's non-poisonous. But
Yeah, and her poison is just for her own defense. They're not even like very likely to bite spiders. Like some spiders are more prone to bite or more likely to be aggressive. Like black widows are literally they're so intentional. Like unless you back it in a corner and make it feel like it's
you're
its
gonna
only
hurt it.
choice,
Yeah.
it's not likely
Murder you.
that it's gonna bite you. It's very misunderstood, Amanda.
It's
I mean, I would
not-
say the same for snakes,
I
right?
would
A lot of snakes
Exactly.
are similar in
Exactly.
that context. Like
My
snakes don't
grandma
bother
had a
me.
snake.
Snakes don't bother me. I grew up with a pet snake. But
but
I will react the same with a wolf spider.
I did a
don't want
quick
anyone.
I did a quick GPT.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. In African cultures, the Ansi, which I'm maybe mispronouncing, to them the spider is a central figure in
Anansi.
Akan folklore, especially in Ghana. He's a cunning trickster and storyteller, embodying wisdom, ingenuity, and resourcefulness.
He actually
Um,
is in a lot of our kids' stories for school, like the folklore stories. Anansi
Anansi.
is in there a
I
lot.
thought you
Yeah.
said a
Oh, is
Nazi.
Anansi like a spider god?
I heard Nazi
Oh, okay.
too.
Okay.
But in the stories,
Um,
he's just a little spider that runs around and is a trickster and tries to
Okay.
trick people.
The Native Americans, the Navajo,
Hey,
they believed that the Spider Woman, who was a sacred figure, represented creation, weaving the fabric of the universe and life itself, connecting the spiritual and material worlds. The Pueblo tribes and Hopi, or Hopi, had what they called the Spider Grandmother, which again was a deity associated with wisdom, creation, and guidance. So Indian culture.
Hear me out. In June this year, I got a black widow tattooed on the inside of my forearm.
Cool.
So when I found this spider, it definitely has like symbolic. It gave me validation. I don't care what nobody says. The universe sent me this black widow, and it'll be mine, and I will keep it and make it happy.
And that's fine.
Nice.
Just keep it away from me. You do
Put it
you.
away
I'm
from
not.
me.
I'm not judging
I mean,
you.
so I will say, like, no, we Amanda and I will never have a spider as a pet. But I
No.
will say, I've met a number of people who have spiders as pets, and I think spiders do make interesting pets. And they tend to be very, like, people that own them tend to let them walk around on their arms and shit. And you're talking about big ass spiders that have poison, maybe non-lethal, but like,
I just don't do
I don't know.
spiders.
For me, I don't think it makes sense. I want like a big thing that I can wrestle around with and play with.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I can't
yeah.
do well with those, and I've gone through, like, I love reptiles, so I tried to keep reptiles for a while, but I accidentally failed with 2 bearded dragons, and I feel terrible. So now I'm like, I can't do reptiles. I'm a serial killer of fish. So I just
Just
decided not to kill any more fish. So I'm like, maybe I'm supposed to have a bug. Maybe I'm supposed to have a spider.
spiders are very temperamental, though, in terms
Hmm.
of care. Like
Actually,
they
the videos I watch, they get a 5 out of 5 for those things. They're actually really resistant. They require very little, and as long as you keep
maybe
them
that's
fed.
specific to the Black Widow, but didn't what's her name's spider just like randomly quit eating and die or some crap?
Yeah.
Like they go through phases where they shed their.
You know
I
who
don't
we're
remember what
talking
it's
about. I don't
molting
I
want to
think
is
you're,
put
the
their name
yeah,
on
I think you're
blast.
talking about a tarantula, though,
Yes,
Yeah,
okay,
it was
tarantulas
a
shed. Yeah.
tarantula.
which is gonna,
right.
yeah, there would be a little bit different. Black widows actually have a lifespan of like 1 to 3 years in captivity.
Really.
Yeah, and they're like, in terms of food, like, I could give her all types of different stuff, but really I'm just gonna go to the pet
Thank you.
store and get her little baby crickets,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be perfect. Like, they don't as long as, like, as long as she doesn't make an egg sac and try to reproduce, like, that's like the sign of that they're like coming to the end of their life cycle. Everything I've been researching says that, like, these are super resilient spiders. So
Okay. Yeah, I
be
mean,
interesting.
like things I've read about. Again, that's why I said it might be a different kind of spider because, like, I don't know enough about all the variations, but some of them are hella temperamental.
I
um,
could see that, especially like like, I was thinking, if the spider don't work out, I'll do a scorpion. And I was thinking, like, those are probably very temperamental because they're specific to a one region, right? Like a desert. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, same with a reptile, like, you have to replicate their environment, or else
right.
it can, like, as simple as throwing off the lizard's light time schedule, like, can throw off their eating schedule, and then that, throws their whole health off.
Right.
Black widow spiders specifically, are found in all parts of the world.
Oh, they
So,
can
like,
survive anywhere, pretty much.
I think that is like an indicator that maybe they're specifically more resilient than other
Maybe.
spiders, but um
Now you want to
I
hear a
see what you mean. Like, a tarantula, I would imagine, is more like a reptile. Like, they're more sensitive. I wonder if that also has to do with them being bigger.
maybe. I've also read that there's certain kinds that have these weird hairs that like burrow into your skin.
Oh,
I've heard of those too.
Ugh.
I know.
Me
Oh
too.
God.
Okay,
And
Amanda's
I mean,
almost
that
ready for
people
new
own them as
combo.
pets, but if you do, you have to wear like gloves when you handle them, or you have to wash your hands like gently with soap and water immediately after. Because if you touch like your eyes, you pick your nose, you touch your ear, those hairs will transfer and they like work their way into the skin. It's and it
So,
just
like,
causes
wouldn't it be
weird.
awesome if as humans we had some sort of self-defense like that?
No, our self-defense comes out in the form of a Karen, where you're just like,
Because I just look at that as
How
like
dare you?
nature is so cool to do that. Like this little creature needs something to make things not want to hold it.
dude, even plants are better than us. Like,
Yeah.
plants have self-defense mechanisms.
Speaking.
Ours are these really shitty claws we have on the end of our fingers and stuff. They're just not good.
That's why I
Speaking of,
sharpen mine.
plants and better than humans, that was another thing that was on the show we were watching last night, was about how, like,
Oh, how like plants, and they think that birds and shit can pick up on the signals from plants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
'cause
actually pretty crazy.
like, and not even just plants,
through
but
vibrations. Yeah.
like, say there was like a study on these birds, I can't remember exactly, wobblers. It was a big flock of wobblers that had moved from an area a day or so before some huge
It was a
storm hit.
mating area, and they were supposed to be there for like a month or two, and they were there for 2 weeks and immediately left.
And they
Yeah.
were like, what happened? Why? The air pressure hadn't changed. There was no actual indicator that humans know of that said this storm is coming, but there was something that indicated to these birds that storm was coming, and they left. And they were talking about how basically even just the winds of a tornado can send vibrations. There's these vibrations that are it was like micro sounds or something like that humans can't hear, we can't notice, but animals
feel it.
can, birds can, and they are so small and travel so far away. Like it's insane, but basically humans evolving to be more cognitive thinkers took away some of our
Ability, our senses.
Sensories. Our
Yes.
sensories. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like birds can even see in this weird like 4D type view that we can't even comprehend.
So
Yep.
you're saying they're in a different dimension.
Bro,
They can
yes.
see
Yay.
more
They
than we can.
operate in a different dimension
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
while
they're
being
sort of
in
different
ours.
like a different collective conscious. Like I do think like same with fungus, like fungus communicates amongst itself. It's one of the only things on our planet that can telepathically communicate. But if you look at it, it's plugged in, connected to our earth. Like our earth
Yeah, the
is
mycelium connects the roots of
Yep.
all the plants.
yeah, so like our earth is like it is vibrating all different types of frequencies all over the place. But if you also think about it, like our bodies are held together by cells vibrating to a certain frequency.
Mhm.
Like what keeps our cells attached to each other? Like what
Oh, I'm
makes
gonna
those chemical bonds and stuff?
I need to chime in with one thing. Does anyone remember the South Park episode with the brown note?
With
I don't
what?
watch.
We're talking about vibrations and sound. The South Park episode with the brown note. They're trying to play the brown note, which is the sound that will make you shit your pants.
Yeah, yeah. I know what episode we just watched that like the other day. Hilarious.
I don't know the talk of it. I was just like, that's really funny. No, but
Left
I
field.
think it's interesting that everything else on this planet seems to have access to a different communication mechanism that we don't understand or can't tune into.
Mm.
Like, I just find that really interesting.
You do enough mushrooms, you can tap into it.
And
Hey.
I
Mhm.
wonder,
It's a collective conscious.
if I don't know. It just feels like more ammo to me for the fact that I don't know that we originated here.
So somebody
much as-
described the collective conscious to me like this one time, and it was like, whoa. So you ever had like a super creative idea and you thought about it and you were like, I should do this. Like this would take off. It would be absolutely amazing. I know this invention would work. And then you don't, because you don't have the funds or the means or resources to make this turn into a reality. And then time goes on and you see that same exact damn thing on the TV. You guys ever had that happen?
Many
I
times.
I thought of a rap lyric, and literally a month later, there was someone that did a song, and it blew up, and they used that same line, and I
Okay,
was like, "This
so
shit is
or like
crazy."
you're in a store and you see something that you're like, I fucking thought of that, and
No,
like
100%. Kevin and I were talking about making because what they don't have anymore is actual land centers. And for years, Kevin and I have been talking about once we've had money, we wanted to set up a personal land center in our house that kids could come play games together in a safe environment. There's no
Yeah.
bullshit going on. It's just a land center. Literally 2 days ago, we saw an article where a couple, turned their loft into a fucking like spent $1 million to turn their loft into a land center, and
okay,
it's fucking blowing up.
that's because the collective conscious, like when you are being creative, your brain is on a different frequency, a frequency that we're not able to always reach or accomplish. When the collective conscious, like that idea that you got, if you didn't jump on it, like it is still in the collective conscious and someone else jumps on it.
Hmm. Damn, I didn't think about that.
I mean, I could see how those ideas can be connected, but in my mind, it just seems like there are so many different people in this world, and as much as ideas are singular to your brain, everyone has similar ideas.
Or
All I
there's a
want to know is
network of conscious thoughts and vibrations all around us that we're not able to see and tap into
who is connected.
moment. We're all connected.
Yeah, who is connected to Da Vinci? How come there's no one like him?
You could say the
Mm.
same thing for Mozart.
Yeah,
Who else?
Einstein.
Einstein.
Bro, someone has his brain. Someone
Yeah, but what if
stole.
they
No, they
Someone's out
his
there
brain
walking.
was
what
different
if
than a
Yeah.
what if they
standard
were
brain.
the only people in that time who were able to achieve this frequency though?
And actually, there are multiple countries, like Russia is one of the bigger ones, that collect their geniuses' brains to study them.
That's smart. I think we should study anybody's body who dies for reasons that are not obvious to aging.
To us.
I want my body to be donated to science when I die.
Dang.
I want some college students to cut me open and learn some random shit on me to be better for the next generation. Like, why are we burying our bodies that have lots of information to know?
So it's
I
a
heard
we
of
yes
don't.
that.
and no, because humans are also like, I know we've expanded our lifespan and we've done all these great things to live longer, but in the long run, all it's done is hyper growth our population to the point where we're overcrowding our planet. And for
But that only
what?
I said it's only going to get worse, right? Like I know it supposedly we're going through a population crisis in certain countries, but holistic, it's going to get worse. Like
Oh yeah.
inevitably it will.
But I think we'll be fine. I don't think that like as many
Yeah.
people are fucking and having babies. I don't see us like worrying about extinction or something.
No,
No,
not at all. That's what I'm
no, I
saying.
Nah.
think the
We've already
population will keep growing. Eventually we will run out of the ability to
we're
provide every
already
person.
Oh, like overpopulating and run out of resources.
we're
Well, we
already
already
doing
are
that.
kind of
Yeah.
overpopulated because if you were to take, let's just think of something simple in a first world country, right, and then replicate it for every human on this planet, the number of resources to provide every person with one of those things, it's different when it's 100 million, but when it's 8 billion, that's a lot of resources.
Well, even just like
Like,
one car, if it was one car per family, but it's
but
not.
I'm saying as we work towards trying to make the world right, because a lot of people feel, and and for good reason, right, that everyone should be entitled to the same things everyone is entitled to a degree, right? Like everyone should have the same opportunities. Everyone should, in my opinion, I think everyone should have a computer.
Yeah,
But if
computers
you
are like
take
essential.
Yeah, but if you take 9 billion computers, the amount of shit it takes to make a computer, they're all extremely refined materials, right? And they're precious metals.
They're rare. They're not like
Yeah.
overabundant. So there's eventually going to be a day where we're not going to be making computers as much anymore. The cost for them is going to be astronomical because
Eventually, yeah.
supplies are going to
Well,
be limited.
if they can find gold on asteroids and mine it, gold is one of the it's used
Yeah.
rampantly in your phones, in your computers, in a lot of electronics that are very optimized, right? To be very small but also powerful. Gold is used in those rampantly.
Yeah.
So if we run out of gold, gold becomes scarce, or even gold goes up to $1,000 a gram, $10,000 a gram, and starts growing crazy in terms of value. Computers will grow alongside it.
Yep.
Tesla cars. Yay, we're off gas.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. But we're like, now we need batteries. Guess what batteries are? Just a waste. In the long run, they get thrown in the trash. They get recycled or melted back down to try and get used more, but they get thrown in the trash.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, people just throw their shit in the trash.
Well, I'm talking about the lithium batteries, and lithium is a precious resource. So what I'm saying is if everyone on this planet had one Tesla car, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
From a resource perspective. So I don't know how to solve that. I don't know how to solve that issue.
Well,
does anyone
We'll
have
worry about
any
it when we get
less
there.
doomsday depressing stuff to talk about?
it's probably depressing, but it has nothing to do with America just yet. Well, a little bit. So y'all know, Biden approved Ukraine to use their missiles in the Russia war. Russia decided in light of that to lower their nuclear conditions, pretty much like what they would use their nuclear weapons for.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much what it said was just practically anything that is against Russia is calls for nuclear action.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you leave people who are crazy to run an entire nation, who then go to war over something that is way long ago in the past. And
Man,
yeah, but I don't know why the U.S. didn't get involved to deal with Putin, and I know it probably had to do with politics, like foreign policies and a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe I'm not
privy to.
Yeah, well, privy to nor good at, right? Because
True.
I don't think we're that great. I think as a country at being good with foreigners. What I mean by that is a lot of Americans are very opinionated and put their foot down.
Yeah.
And won't budge, and they don't want to talk about it, right? But I think in this instance, I wish we would have kind of put our foot down and said no.
Well, I could see the implications of doing that. It could lead to a bigger conflict with Russia because Putin's fucking, Putin. But just letting him all right, we're going to take back Ukraine because that's what, it was a part of the Soviet Union and we're going to take it back. I just kind of feel.
Even the quiet kids who keep to themselves, right, and don't interject when a bully's picking on somebody else, eventually that bully gets around the playground and makes his way to them.
Yeah. So, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, eventually it's all going to lead to war.
Yeah.
So if the writing's already on the wall, why are we pretending like it's not? I don't know. It just feels.
It causes panic amongst the citizens to think oh, this could be it. This could be like that. Because everyone's expecting a World War III nuclear bombs to be dropped and the world ends.
Avoided all that though, right?
Oh, yeah.
A team of specialized individuals that was definitely not ours and definitely had nothing to do with the government or anything. could have just made their way into Russia and taken out who they needed to take out, right? To have a shift in power and potentially change what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And a massive war could have been avoided because of it. I guess equally, you could say it could have incited it too, right? But I don't know. These are hard things to talk about because I don't know that there is a right or wrong. But ignoring somebody who's acting evil and who's openly attacking people and who clearly just doesn't seem to have all the marbles, right? I mean, it feels like another Saddam Hussein or somebody. Like, why are we letting this person stay in power? I don't know.
Mainly because Russia doesn't have anyone else to put in office. I'm pretty sure they do. It's just, I guess they just don't care.
Who is that?
Putin. We're talking about Putin and him trying to.
Putin's a dictator, bro. It don't matter who
Oh, yeah.
they've got to replace him. He's not going to let anybody replace him. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, you missed the part where I was saying I think we're ultimately headed to a war anyway because we've allowed him to stay in power, and
For so long.
I genuinely don't understand why a group of individuals with a lot of skills weren't dispatched to remove this individual from power who, doesn't belong to any government. I know they exist and they're out there.
Oh, yeah. They're there.
But like by not acting, we are allowing the stage to be laid for a much larger war.
Yes.
And that is what's worrisome to me. The lack of action, the lack of wanting to have serious conversations and just put our foot down and say that's unacceptable. That's
what if we're just watching though to learn, like watching to see, like there's a lot to learn from watching your enemy fight someone else.
True.
So maybe instead of acting like I can't confidently say for Biden, but like I would hope that there is action being thought of, but like if we act too soon, we could also put ourselves in a situation that we're not ready for because we didn't know quite what they had, versus watching them exhaust their resources on another country kind of gives us an advantage point because one, we know their fighting style, and two, we know that their resources are at least lower than they were.
Yeah, we've been watching Russia, since the Cold War.
Oh, yeah.
We have not stopped.
We got eyes on them.
In terms of war with Russia, Russia's good at turtling. That's what they're best known for. You go to war with Russia and they will sit there and turtle. That's why they're not doing too great when they go to raid Ukraine, because it's not their territory. It's not ice cold and they can't hunker down. That's why they beat the Nazis, right? In World War II, they held the Nazis off until they starved to death. They were tired and fatigued from meth because the Nazis were on meth.
Were they really?
Yes, they were.
To keep them up.
That's why they were such super soldiers until weeks and months went by and their bodies were so drained and burned out that they were no longer super soldiers. But when they first started, they were like, hey, this dude on meth can get shot 5 times and still keep shooting. Like, he doesn't have to sleep, so we can attack at any point, and we can fight for a week straight with never taking a break. But those things take a toll. So Russia hunkered down, and they just waited it out. And that's what they're good at doing, right? At least historically speaking.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can learn a lot. There's wisdom approaches to military, but I don't know. I think we know Russia to a degree. And
I'm just thinking like when a fighter is preparing for a fight to come ahead, like they watch videos of their enemy, they learn the fighting styles. Like I also think like we have to think smarter than just jumping in, because I'm sure we could have a good stance, but I don't know. I think waiting and watching is a little bit the smarter option here because
I
I
just
don't want to be trigger happy.
I just don't think America has
Yeah, I
the
just don't want it to
means to
turn
win
in.
this.
I
To
just
win
don't want
it.
it to turn into Iraq, right? And Saddam Hussein, who started gassing his own people to try out military weapons. And when Putin gets fed up with the Ukrainians and he's like, I'm done with this shit, and he starts reverting to that stuff, I wish we would have taken action sooner. That's all.
There's just so many other world problems though that we need, like we could take action on and do something about. Like people in Haiti right now are being taken over by a gang, and like they've ran out their own leader. Like there's nobody over there running right now. Like we should do something about. There's so many other countries. That's why we can't just help everyone. There's so many current
Well,
things
sadly, I
happening
think we need to focus our attention where it.
internally. We need to focus on our own country and problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Intervening in other people's problems, yeah, I get it. Like helping out, doing what we can, but we've got cities in America that are being overrun by gangs at this very moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of like how can
But
we
I
fix
meant,
their issue of gang violence and problems when we can't even properly fix ours?
Yeah, exactly.
We can't
Like
even. Yeah.
we can sit there like with the whole Ukraine thing. Like yeah, we could send money over there. We can send aid and soldiers, but
We
honestly,
don't know how to control our own money.
yeah, you see what
We
I'm saying?
send it everywhere else, but fuck us.
But
true.
we somehow have poverty up to our fucking necks here in America, and I just don't see the benefit in the long run. Like
Mhm.
it just doesn't seem like a good idea
Mhm.
to put so much focus on something like that because those same people probably won't even be able to help us.
No, and they wouldn't help us.
And they wouldn't. They'd be like, well, yeah, you helped us, but I mean, look what we got going on over here, and then disappear.
Yep.
And now we
Absolutely.
about to go to war again. Like,
Mhm.
it's just,
Welcome to being a first world country.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's true in a lot of instances, not just in the United States. I feel like that's true for other countries as well. I think they provide a lot of foreign assistance. We might provide the most. I don't actually know the numbers. But I feel like the UK probably helps too in other allied countries. Probably help as well in certain instances, but we all have our own internal issues. I was more focused on threat towards reverting everything humans have worked towards. If we get into World War III, if nuclear weapons get used, that's worrisome.
Nuclear winter.
That's worrisome to me, right? And yes, there's so many other awful things in the world that I would much rather be focused on.
Yeah.
But it's hard to
Sorry.
help people, help ourselves, or anyone when you've got people who are actively mass producing military that are best friends with the North Koreans that supply them weapons, that supply the Russians with weapons, and now Russia's getting aggressive with Ukraine. China's aggressive with, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Like, it's the aggression that's building, that's surmounting. That is
North
what's
Korea
worrisome to me.
is aggressive to South Korea.
Oh
And
yeah,
us,
North Korea hates the fuck out of South Korea.
of course,
They
And it's
hate
not
the fuck
actually
because
out
they
of
don't
North
all worship
Korea.
one person.
It's just the
Yeah.
dude. Because, like,
Yeah.
his father was making peace between North and South Korea. They literally were in the process of rejoining the two nations. And then once Home Dude took his place, he's done everything in his power to break everything his father has done, including destroying the statue that was supposed to connect North and South Korea.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's all hatred. It's all just personal egos
Yep.
and personal like agendas that's gonna really, if anything, it's gonna end the world.
Yeah.
That'll be what end the world is. Just letting leaders continue to lead the way they have been, because especially here in America, no one has the goal, or really like they don't care about actually changing what's going on. They became so complacent about what's going on and what's happening around them. Like it's I don't think like it won't, nothing's gonna change unless there's a major, like, unless nuclear war happens. Nothing's gonna really change. Nothing's gonna be as
My
different.
Yeah, and the sad part with that truth is that it would be too late by that point.
I mean, there you go. There you go. But I mean, we're just here for the ride, and we're just hoping that.
I do wish that more of the countries could get along, and that people, just that our nature didn't make us like, I just wish the notion of people who are two-faced just wasn't a thing. Like, I wish people were true and were honest with who they are. And like, I do, because
Yeah.
what do you think foreign policy is? It's all smile and shake hands and transfer of money and talk about business. And then when you go your separate ways,
Like, I
oh
can't
shit, they're
stand, bro.
plotting this, they're gonna do that. Like, they're strategizing, and I despise that about us. I do. Like, our intellect is great, but we're the only things that do that. That sit here and be
Wait,
nice to one another and then contemplate how you're going to eliminate that person.
Yeah, facts.
It's sad. But if the world was full of more honest individuals who would speak up and say, no, this is not satisfactory, I'm not content with this or whatever, but be honest and not deceitful, I think the nations could get along better. I think more help could be provided to the countries that don't have the means, right? But with all the we gotta squash the
beef.
global beef.
the beef.
Yeah, we gotta squash the global beef. Then we gotta figure out how to do right by our citizens who live in those countries. Like, no one should not have a house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No one. It's
Nobody
fuck.
should fear their genitals being cut off.
Facts.
That is also true.
Huh?
It was very left
Wait.
field, but facts.
I
what I'm
agree.
saying.
But I'm saying that in those other countries, like the things that we think like are bad, like we don't even consider, like some of these people are afraid to just fucking exist in their
Yeah.
outside of their home, and not like in America where it's like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to spend money, or I'm afraid I'm gonna have to deal with a Karen or an asshole. No, like these people genuinely have to worry about going outside and maybe watching their mom being raped or some shit. Like it's so extreme in certain parts of the
Yeah.
world.
Well, yeah, the world is
Shit.
it sucks.
100%.
But I think as much as there's the shitty stuff that happens,
There's beauty
I think
in it.
as our societies have evolved, as our communication mechanisms have allowed us to talk across bigger distances. I mean, it's only been a relatively short time that we've had the ability to do this. So in the future, I don't know. Maybe it gets better.
Yeah.
But sometimes things get worse before they ever get better, right?
It's gonna get a lot worse.
But maybe there is a shining light at the end of that tunnel. Maybe one day humans cannot be horrible to one another. And then we can actually figure out how to solve problems. Because right now it's trying to solve problems in the middle of a shitstorm, and that's hard to do.
Yeah. You good over there, Nuke?
Yeah, I'm good. I put my 2 cents in every now and then.
You know it.
But I genuinely believe there should be no hungry people, and there should be no one that has to live without a home unless they don't want to. Like if they want to go live in the fucking woods, here's a backpack and a tent and all that great stuff, buddy. Here's some
Go have fun.
tools. Yeah,
Go live in the fucking woods.
right. But people like freezing to death, people taking it to the point of putting spikes on benches and shit so that homeless people can't sleep off the ground. That shit's not okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of just
I
shit. Just because you want your place to look like, I get it. There can be issues with it when homeless people are crowding an area and people just want to walk the park. Like there's a time and a place. I don't know. It's just it's a crappy
yes and
position to
no, but
be
like,
in.
why are people that are on a street so looked down, like so mistreated by everyone around them that they genuinely do. I feel like they get looked down on or treated different.
Oh no,
But those guys would sit down and fucking play chess with you if you'd give them an hour of your
Actual
time.
chance. Yeah.
people in this world are more concerned about the eyesore of them existing than actually trying to
That's
do
the problem.
something about helping.
But
So my standpoint, probably the controversial one. For me, it's a matter of a person not trying to be better for themselves or doing anything to better themselves. So personally, like I'll take the shirt off my back and give it to somebody if they need it. I will give you the food that I just bought if you need it. Like I will open my door and allow somebody shelter if they need it. But in their time of being helped, are they going to believe in themselves enough to do something with that opportunity? Or are they going to be stuck in this mental place that is so comfortable that they no longer try for themselves? Because that can be the same mindset as a heroin addict or someone else. And I'm not saying everybody who is homeless or everybody on the streets is a drug addict, but I'm saying that mindset can be dangerous to invest your resources in, for one. And for two, I personally feel like it is very confusing to my child when there are a large amount of people standing on the street with their hand out with money, and they have people giving them money and they're not doing something productive for themselves with the money.
right.
Yeah.
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 No, so I agree with this sense of I like to help people who choose to help themselves. Because you have to be, you only have so much to offer, right? Or to help. And so you do have to kind of think about where that help is going. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend a lot of time or resources trying to help someone who is seemingly given up.
Yeah.
Um, and just can't find that spark. But I think that right there is the problem, right? I think it's about giving them that purpose again. It's about finding that spark again. It's not about giving them money. It's not about giving them a food or what have you to solve that problem that they're going through. It's about reigniting that fire.
So there's actually I have this plan or idea concept in the back of my mind that eventually when I become financially stable, I would like to build some sort of nonprofit community funded buildings that house people temporarily, like one
Yeah.
or two nights at a time. But specifically, like I know that there's not many options for men, for example, like, which is why you see so many homeless men on the street. Is like there's not many shelters that will take and guide or nurture a person back to their mental health. It is a very cruel thing where it's like, well, if you don't care, fuck it, we don't care either. And then it's hard. Like I've had family who I've watched get stuck in that mindset of like, well, this is my life, like I don't have purpose.
Mhm.
And I definitely feel like it is part of my purpose in this life to kind of give people tough love but motivation at the same time. And I think that you're right, like that is totally needed, but there's also like I've spoken with a person who was a panhandler in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and they told me they made $80 an hour and they would never work again because of that. And so I think the problem is that like people are growing comfortable with feeling like they have no purpose, and then as a community, like we don't know what to do with it, so we're like, fuck it, we need to help, let's give them money. And then we give them money, and because of the cycle of habits they have, like they don't invest that money into anything that benefits their mental health at all. Or maybe temporarily, but as a whole, like it's a balance. It needs love and nurturing, but I don't think like I do not like seeing homeless people on the corner. I do not like when I have my child in the car and he asks, how come mommy we're not giving him money? I don't like that there's people sleeping on benches and curbs, and not that I don't want to see them, and I don't think it is right to make it to where somebody doesn't have somewhere to rest their head. So that's why I said like it's even like a controversy within myself, like which side I stand on, because I have family who has ended up in those situations, and I get that they're a lost soul and don't know how to help themselves, and somebody does have to break that chain and be that motivation. But also
Well, the motivation
They
it
got to
has
has to
to
want
be
it.
come
it has
from
to be two
in.
ways. Like it has to be two ways.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The motivation has to come from within. That's why you have to be selective. There are
Hmm.
people that, given that opportunity, would run with it.
For
But there's
sure.
also people who are broken, who feel like they don't care anymore, right? That is hard to repair. And if you give somebody who doesn't care anymore $100, $2,000, whatever the amount may be, it's gonna disappear, right? Probably expediting that person's potential demise, depending on what their habits are. So yeah, it's a really tough problem, but I do think we should do things differently. If somebody's like, I don't like panhandling either. I will not give somebody money because I'm
Nah.
like, no. Like, there's been too many documentaries about people who make six figures panhandling. I'm not gonna feed that system.
No, literally anytime we've been asked
So,
for help, we took someone in and bought them food.
but what I
Yeah.
don't understand is why there's not a type of system that says we will give you housing, we will feed you, you're going, like, this is where you will work. Like some type of military system. Like, it would have to have strictness around it and a zero tolerance type of policy because people would try to abuse it.
Oh, of course. I mean,
But
look at
today,
welfare.
people abuse, yeah, exactly. They abuse
Look at welfare.
everything. Even in the welfare instance, I do believe that if there are two able-bodied people at home, it should be like, go to this building and you will get your orders for where you are going to go pick up trash, where you're going to go fucking clean the sidewalk if you're pressure washing, whatever,
Mhm.
right? But I think you should, aside from looking for a job, you should have to contribute. You should have to work to get that funding, that help, that assistance.
People don't want to work. That's the problem.
I was going to say,
You're
I
not
think that
wrong.
is the big problem, is because you can offer some of these people the opportunity to make money and they'll pass it up because it's not as easy.
Yeah, but I'm saying welfare shouldn't be a free handout. I think you should have to, of course, people fudge medical stuff too. But if you, for
Yeah.
some reason, you can't help in this instance or that instance, there are plenty of things to do. There are plenty of jobs to do. And anybody who's at least able bodied can help pick up trash, fucking cut grass, fucking help fix the roads. It does not take somebody with a crazy degree to repair a road.
No.
Yeah.
So, like,
No, it does not.
I understand, but today that system gets abused without anything. And I think if that system was like, hey, that's great. Yeah, we'll hook you up with affordable housing, whatever. You'll have X much of money to be able to eat, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So all your stuff's taken care of, but you're going to work, right? Get your
Gonna
ass
have
up.
to.
And if you don't show up, that's why I said it needs to be militarized. Because I don't think the right thing is, well, now you're gone, because it'll become a cycle, right? But the military knows how to make people regret doing things
Hell yeah.
in ways that are much more haunting than, oh, you're out now, right? Like, I don't know. I think the system needs to change, and I think people who can contribute need to contribute more. And I think the system should shift. I think it should be an exception to just get a free paycheck or a food stamp card or a whatever without actually applying yourself, right? To some degree. But I also think the food stamps or the food that's covered, if you are working, I guess, essentially at that point for the military or the government,
Mm-hmm.
then, I mean, you should at least be able to live and eat and feel relatively comfortable. But I do believe there's plenty of work to be done that I just don't get why the local governments and the federal government don't try to tweak the system a little more to get more people involved, because there is a lot of work to be done. There always is. Look at every fucking city. Like, they're all decaying. They all look run down and shit. Like, we can fix that. It's called maintenance.
Mm-hmm. They want to put money elsewhere. They're not going to fix up a lot of the shit you see out there.
Yeah, I know. Money's the driving factor for evil, man. Always
Yeah.
has been. So, about that game Duckside.
I got to cop that. It looks actually pretty fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
the
have to
base
check
got
it out.
rated. Everything's going.
And now that I've got a good wake up day and I've slept, I think I'll give it a good go.
Yeah, I gotta cop that game. It does remind me of Rust, low key.
It's pretty much identical to Rust, except it's less about survival. There's one survival meter, and that's food. So, like, you literally eat 2 pieces of cake, and your food's good for like hours upon hours.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's less about consistent surviving.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it like a battle royale, or is it just straight survival type of?
Sorry, one more time. I was typing in my.
No, I said, is it like a battle royale type of thing, or is it just survive?
No,
Okay.
it's more like Rust, right? Open world survival, but you can raid bases and there's PvP.
It's Rust as ducks.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. We did get raided, so all our stuff's gone. So that'll be unfun. But even when you die and you're across the map, you can fly. So you don't get eaten by bears. You don't have to go slow as crap through water.
That's
and
such a
struggle
good,
up a hill.
I will say though, that flying slow as shit.
Is it?
There's a trick to it that I can show you, Nuke, but you have to like dive and then pitch up, dive, pitch up, dive, pitch up, and keep doing it, and you'll actually go a lot faster.
Oh, okay.
A lot faster. Somebody was showing it to us yesterday, and we're like, oh, that's how you're supposed to fly as a duck. Got it. Mama Duck never taught me.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm an orphan duck.
I was Mama Bald Eagle, okay? No, it was funny because I did. Any of our neighbors around us, whenever someone else was trying to like mess with their base, I would walk up to them and say, hey, stop it. Don't do that.
These people have like semi-automatic guns, like super kitted, and she's just running at them
with cake.
Yeah, with cake in hand, going, "Don't attack their base. They're friends."
Put your guns away. They're our friends, and they're
We
like,
promote peace.
they were like, don't tell us to put our guns away. And I was like, put your guns away. I only have cake.
Don't hurt me.
And I mean, they didn't. They listened.
Well, good.
But it was funny. All I saw though, because in the game you waddle like a duck
Yeah.
too, right? So all
Oh,
I
that's
see is the
funny.
mama duck, right, going up and at the car. Ah.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
what happened.
I'm gonna get that game. I'm gonna cop it today.
Yeah, you can quack at people. There's in-game proximity voice chat.
Oh, that's
Our
beautiful.
base did get raided last night, which is a little sad, but the wipe was
But-
coming up anyways.
But
Okay.
in one day, we pretty much got to the purchasing guns, having a decent base.
We know a lot more of how to get
Is it
shit
easier?
faster.
Well,
I'm gonna say,
and
yeah.
now-
Is it easier to craft stuff in that game? Like, get materials to craft stuff?
yes and no. In that game,
Okay.
you have to collect feathers so that you can research stuff. In Rust, I think it's a little different, but that game also has the key cards and shit. So you have to
Yeah.
like, go to the doors and run the little missions and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Rust has key cards as well.
Yeah.
But what I was seeing last night, even with the feathers that you were speaking of, like Rust, you have to collect fucking scrap metal to be able
Yeah.
to do research on things. So it's basically the same fucking game.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yes and no.
They added variations to it. And in
One-
Rust, you have to have water and food. In this game, thankfully, you don't.
Just food.
And you can eat one piece of cake and it'll last you all day. Like you're not just
Wow.
stressing about surviving in that sense.
Right.
The other reason it's different than Rust is because you're a fucking duck and can fly.
And you don't
Fucking
have
duck.
to. And you don't have to hit a red X on a tree that moves to the back side of the tree as you're chopping down a tree with a rock. I'm just
He's
You
like,
could
I gotta
just-
point this out.
yeah, you spawn and you just peck shit. And then literally after a few minutes of pecking stuff, you have tools.
Hey,
If we did it again, we should totally get the chainsaw and the jackhammer unlocked
On That,
immediately.
yeah.
Because
I'm pretty sure that is, yeah.
Once we got those, we were putting shit out. And then we had other people show up beside us. And then it was a whole, hey, you friendly? Yo, we're friendly. Okay, here.
And then we'd throw him a chainsaw and a jackhammer and be like, there you go. And dude, within
well,
like,
then
remember the one person we gave them the chainsaw and then we came back and their base,
the
like,
whole forest was
quadrupled?
gone. And their base was huge. And those were the people that actually then joined us in Rocket League later last night.
Oh, that's cool.
The plan is we're supposed to all sync up together after reset to just build a huge base together. And they've been playing this already, so they've got production on point.
Well, they've
Oh,
been
they know what to
playing
do.
it since it was like ever even brought up. Super
Yeah.
early.
Okay.
But nah, the game's fun, man. And yes, there are buttheads. There are people that just snipe you for no reason. There was
Of
some
course.
duck with a Abraham
definitely-
Lincoln hat on that just sniped me out of the sky and then left my bag and everything in it just because.
He's like, I don't want this.
There's
He didn't even land. He just shot me and kept flying.
mostly
Oh,
good
God.
people we have found in the server, but there are still some a-holes.
There's
Our
always
plan-
going to be those few.
Our plan is once we, get done with the book and stuff, when we're actually putting a little more time into playing games like Rocket League and Duckside and shit, when we're doing a little more marketing and a little less of the writing. Although, I guess once we're done with this, we got to immediately start with the kids' books. So,
Yeah.
but the plan was to get not a Rust server, a Duckside server that we can password
like a
protect or
Panda
do whatever
one.
we want.
And
So, I
then
mean,
it'll just be
that's-
ours that we don't have people invading us and we can just build to our base's content.
Hey.
Although if it does get expensive based off how much shit's there, we're gonna do a wipe.
I still have to message the developers. They need a loot all button that's hella easy to add.
Oh, yeah.
And then they need explosive vest.
Hashtag Duckside, listen.
Hashtag Duckside.
Well, no, but so all right. The term suicide bomber is not a great term. And this
Oh.
part can just not be on the thing. But in Duckside, dude, I just want to be able to put an explosive on my duck and dive bomb somebody's house.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, just straight kamikaze the whole area.
Could you just
Real-
imagine seeing like 10 ducks roll up in a flock and they just start dive
Pew,
bombing
pew.
and they're
I would be
dying as
terrified.
they're hitting your stuff, right?
You
So
know
it's not
what
it's
Kevin
more
was doing?
comical, I think.
Last night, him and some of the people, everyone was on an adventure, water, all those people were out on an adventure. They died. So Kevin's grand adventure, he was like, all right, we're going to litter. Like, we have nothing in our bags now because we've already died. We're empty. Let's just keep suiciding on their house. So there's a bunch of dead ducks covering their base.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this.
Well, because
game.
you can just fly all the way up in the sky and then just choose to dive bomb straight into the
And
ground.
it does kill you. I've done it on accident so
Water
many
did.
times.
After he flew the entire map to go to the desert zone, he dive bombed and killed himself.
Fucking Jesus.
He had to fly 3 kilometers twice.
Oh
Dude, we
my
had so
god.
many- Our duck army was so amassed yesterday because we had the kids and everything that we had to have 2 different groups because you can only have 5 people in a squad. So we had like a base. Everyone can use the base. You can all be registered. That's fine, but only 5 per squad. So we had to be like, all right, you in a party, go do this. You in a party, go do that. It was funny.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the game. Y'all sold me right there. Y'all should work for the studio. Just advertise the game.
We
Would
just
you ever
did.
wanted the kamikaze?
If they want to
Whoa.
sponsor us,
Hashtag
that'd be great.
Duckside.
Yeah, sponsor us. Yo, Duckside, come at us.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd totally wear some duck gear.
Dude,
I
all
would-
we want is a
What?
server dedicated to us that no one can invade, and we will promote your game. Let's go.
100%.
Oh no, I know they got some like lit T-shirts in their office somewhere for their employees, and they probably
just-
have extras.
I
I'm
just need
just
a
saying.
large.
Throw some my
We're
way.
on some shit. And while we're at it, balls.
Energy drinks or
There you go.
caffeinated guarana soda.
I'm here to advertise for you still. I've sent you 3 emails. Where are you?
What's going on?
Why you ghosting?
Why you ghosted? Don't act like you don't want me.
They swiped the wrong way on me. No.
Oh no.
We have those things on subscribe and save.
Yeah, we get Balls energy drinks on subscription.
Damn.
Are you saying balls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, man.
BAWLS. It is.
Okay.
It is a
Balls.
old gamer
Balls.
drink.
Yeah,
like
dude.
Not balls.
Balls.com.
back on Land Centers,
Balls.com.
the old Land Centers
I just
back
sent
in the
it to Nick.
day.
Yeah. Here, I'll send it to you too.
Like, did y'all go to Land Centers when y'all were younger?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Go
They
to
were
what?
sold Land Centers,
What the fuck is
Um,
that?
a
a local area network.
They're normally called LAN parties
Yeah.
when you have them with friends, but it's where you take your computer to a friend's house and you play together on the same network. But a LAN center,
It's
they
somewhere
run
you
a
can
lot.
go.
It's just a
Yeah,
building.
they have a
Yeah.
lot of spaces. So some of them provide computers and you
Yeah.
pay so much an hour to use the computer.
Mhm.
Some of them just provide
Okay.
network access. You
Yeah.
bring your computer, you set it up, and you play games with other people for like 3 days straight without sleeping.
And
Like,
I think
that's-
some do both. Like, because we, at least in Virginia Beach, what was the one we used to go to called? I keep trying to remember.
We
It was
had
called East
one.
Coast LAN.
East Coast Land. But this is where we first got balls from.
Yes.
And of course, it was funny, haha, because we were teenagers. I'm like, oh, balls.
Drinking
It's still
balls.
funny. I don't care what anybody says.
No, you know what's funny is our kids love them. You want to hear our 7-year-old son come up? It's so funny when he comes up to Kevin. He goes, "Daddy, can I have some balls? Can I have some balls, Daddy?" And
That's
Kevin shakes his head and he's like, "What have I done?"
hilarious.
So I sent a video in the chat, and it's a tribute to East Coast LAN. But this was what I did back in the day. It was a bingo hall,
Hey.
and they'd rent it out. And for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or no, it was Friday, Saturday, and then all day Sunday, and then you left. No, I think I left Monday morning. It was like during summertime
I don't
because
know.
I'd stay up
Word.
for 3 days straight.
Woo!
because they black out. Well, what's crazy is it's actually easier than you think. They black out all the windows.
Oh,
So
you
it's
can't
like,
tell what
Exactly.
fucking time it is anyway.
Yep. But then you just play on local area network. You play against, and there's like 100, 200 people here. You play Counter-Strike. They do local tournaments for like Halo.
Dota was a
Um,
big thing. I remember
Oh
we
yeah.
went
Yeah.
to one and played Dota once.
Yep. But it was just like whatever the games that were hot at the time, they do some kind of tournaments and they offer a small cash prize. But for the cost of like $30 for those 3 days, you got fed for every meal.
Damn.
Like dude, it was legit and it was so much fun.
That's why we want to make a LAN center.
I wonder if I'm in one of these pictures. Oh God.
Mhm.
Also, there was a large portion of people there that would transfer tons and tons of porn.
Love it.
Gosh.
hey,
The one
Love
year
that
I
for y'all.
went, this was before we met, but it was a girl who had 16 gig of porn and she shared the drive.
get it.
Drive
Wow.
And I'm like, it doesn't sound like a ton right now, but this was also early.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, this
So
when-
16 gig like was massive.
Yeah. She
Jesus
been working on
shit.
that for a while.
Back then, that was a whole hard drive. Back then, that was a whole hard drive.
Now it makes sense of why you had to preface with before
If
we
I
met,
ever
babe.
become extremely wealthy, I want a LAN center in my house.
Yeah, that's what we want to
Like
build.
I want a space where friends can come over, they can bring their computer, they can bring their Xbox, whatever.
I think what you meant to say is when you become extremely wealthy.
Not
Yeah.
if.
Not if, but when.
When.
Yeah.
No, speak it
Hey,
into
hey, hey,
existence,
hey, hey.
bro.
Okay.
We don't do none of that broke
Listen,
people stuff.
I said I would become a software engineer, and I'm an untrained, self-taught software engineer who worked in the field for like a decent amount of time. I don't know.
Not
how
just
I'd
an
say.
untrained. He's being very humble right now.
He's being
He literally
that
got
is not the
to.
right word.
Right. Okay, well, you knew what I meant then.
He is
Okay.
being stubborn. That's what he's being.
But no, he's just being modest. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He didn't just become a software engineer. He became a master software engineer that then became an architect of his own fucking projects. Like,
Mhm.
and I can't even speak clearly because words are hard.
The
Understandable.
author.
He
Yeah,
is not
'cause
giving himself credit, is
He's
what.
not. He has done some badass shit, and he literally made it to the point where we could take
Yeah, but
this
six
past
figures
year
when
to
I was
focus
17
on just
was
this
different than
book.
6 figures now that I'm 37. It's just
Is
not
it
the same.
true? True.
Dude, I'm gonna punch you in the
I'm just saying
throat.
it's not the
Hey
same.
yo.
I say things.
So
It'll
no,
happen.
our goal is definitely to aim. We want reoccurring income, right? So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
trying to establish that because I do not want someone to tell me how much of my retirement I'm allowed to use, how much I'm
Right.
allowed to have a month.
Right.
No, they can kiss my ass. Like
I
I
agree with that.
genuinely don't trust in that shit. I don't. I'd rather starve to death and die because I didn't succeed than
Right.
rely on
Not to
that
mention,
shit.
we were trying to go down that path, and the last 2 years in taxes, we get fucking pinged for putting too much money in a 401k. What? We just matched our company's offer,
Yeah.
and we kept getting penalized for putting too much into our 401k.
They said y'all trying to get to that money a little too quick for us.
Nah, dude,
It's
it's
like,
all
are
a
you
racket,
kidding?
man. This
Oh
whole
yeah.
notion of, hey, give us your money. We won't tax it. We'll stick it over here. I'd rather stuff that shit under a mattress. Kiss my ass.
Dang.
Like, I don't,
Mhm.
and I hate
Or
that it's like,
I'd rather put
I
it
don't
in
know.
my own account where I can earn the interest off of it.
That is also true.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I feel like it's a racket. I just don't want to have to be confined to $1,000 some dollars a month plus whatever if you have a pension or like my mom and my dad, they went that direction. My dad has retirement from the Navy. He's got a pension from Raytheon. I think he still works for them actually, but his pension from them would probably be insane because he's worked for them for like 20 years. But like that's the route they went. My mom is now retired. She gets a decent pension from her job. She also gets like part of his retirement because they divorced.
Oh yeah.
So like she gets by well enough. But it's sad. I don't like that.
Mm.
She's not traveling as much as I think like I wish she would go travel more and see and
The world. We keep telling
Yeah.
her.
yeah. 'Cause while she's still able-bodied to do that, I think it
And she's crazy. We've had this talk so many times. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save money to leave for y'all to do this, and for Amber to do this." And we're like, literally, both of her children have said to her multiple times, "We do not want you to live your life to leave money for us. We don't care if you leave money for us. Go live your life with the money that you worked during your life
You
to
worked
fucking
so hard
earn."
to have it.
Right. You busted your ass. You made sacrifices. Like she has talked about, she would have loved to be there, to be the one with Kevin and his sister as they were growing up as babies, but instead she busted her ass going to school. She was in the military first, then went to school to further her career after leaving the military, being a bomb ass accountant, head accountant at the end of her career. Like,
Right. She also went to school full time while she was working full time,
Yeah.
which is not fun.
she did
She
some badass shit. She deserves what she worked for, and that's
Yeah.
what we wish she would understand.
hell, my grandma retired but had to go back to work because in Florida, who was it? Rick Scott? No, yeah, I think it was Rick Scott. When she was around when she retired, fucked up her retirement. So like she has to go back to work to pay for the house they got built, and it just sucks looking at it, like watching that happen. Like she loved being retired. She got to do whatever she wanted, but now she had to get up and go back to work and works what part-time, and it's kind of like how how did this happen? How does this get to be like this? And
Yeah, I
just like,
genuinely
damn.
believe that when people reach a certain age, they should be taken care of. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And if they can do that because they are fortunate and whatever, that's great. But I don't think there should be anyone like I don't think elderly people should have to go back to work. I know some want to, right? And that I'm cool with that. I think that's great, but I don't think there should be a requirement because you can't survive. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They work their whole fucking lives or lived their whole fucking life, which is work anyway. So like at least for the last 20, 30, I don't know, maybe they'll be fortunate, live to 120.
Is that fortunate?
People are getting
Is that
It's
fortunate?
that fortunate.
Yeah. I guess that's true. That's debatable, right?
I don't know that I want to live that long. I'm just saying. Like, it
I
just
don't know
sounds,
that I do either.
it sounds
Yeah, I don't know
painful.
that.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah.
Oh god, speaking of that, y'all see that guy who's like obsessed with living forever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dude
Yeah,
that's going through all
it's
the
me.
bro.
It's
Dude,
me.
why would you want to
It's
live
new.
forever?
It's me.
Why? Because I think this world's pretty fucking cool. I know it sucks from time to time, but like there's some beautiful shit, and I know
But
in my lifetime I'll never get to see it. But if I live forever, who knows? Maybe.
yeah, but let me ask you a question. Would you trade getting to see all the wonders in the world? Um, getting that is great. The ramification of it is that nothing then beyond that point of finding the last great thing is new. But you have to keep existing, right? Like you're still in existence and all the wonder is drained from the world for you. I
That
don't
would
want to
suck.
get to that point.
Yeah,
That
I
would
could
suck.
see that. And
I'd
then
rather go out going, wow, it's still, there's so much there,
but
right?
then there is assisted suicide at that point.
I mean,
I mean,
I
you're
don't
not
know.
wrong,
The
but
one that pod that they just tried to do that with
but
supposedly
here's the
failed.
reality of the situation. We're not going to make biology, a biological thing, exist forever. I don't think
Right.
that's what we're going to achieve.
That's not the purpose.
No,
What
You're
we're
not
gonna
supposed to.
what we're going to end up achieving is trapping our consciousness in a
Yeah.
body that doesn't require something, that can be maintenance, that can be taken care of and can last forever. That's what's going to
Cyborg.
happen. So, dude, I
No,
I don't want to
okay.
be
Tap
it.
out.
I don't want it.
Tap out.
I quit. Mercy.
I'm already tired of this shit.
Because then,
What,
Newt, you'll be like,
yo?
assisted suicide, I'm getting out of here. But in reality, they just turn you off and put you to the side and said, all right, he's there if we need him on reserve. Right? Like
Right.
they can have your consciousness forever. They can replicate it and copy it. And no.
Can't do
That's
it.
what's gonna happen. You put that Neuralink in, ba-bing.
That what happened with that? Like, is
I
there
don't
any?
know.
I know they did the first like implant
It's
and it
been
was successful.
successful.
Yeah, but I don't.
Dude's a successful gamer now.
I,
That's
No,
what he's
you-
good at.
No,
Is
Yeah.
that
seriously.
real?
Yeah.
Yes.
that's
Oh my
funny.
God. I'm fucking
That-
weak. I'm
That is
sorry.
actually
But-
funny.
The sad part is, though, it's fun for that guy right now because they're still testing everything. So that man still gets a
Is that
disability
fun?
check and he can play games and have fun, right? And
That boy on the 0.1
but what they're
update.
going to do is make it so that people who are physically impaired can still work using Neuralink. And then they won't get disability. They will
Yeah.
still have to work at a job
Mhm.
that only requires them to use Neuralink and sit in front of a computer.
Where.
Yes.
Mm.
They're trying to figure out how people can work in their sleep, dude. Like,
Mm-mm.
I don't
Mm-mm.
like this. I don't like where all this is going. We just want to be free. It is technology and science. I love it, but it's like a love-hate relationship because the more we keep going down this road, there's so many things that I just don't want to happen. I'd rather
It's
go back to
a-
the natural state of things.
It's just we became so dependent on technology. Like, wait till they get AI where they really want to get it. We're gonna be so dependent on AI. It's gonna be ridiculous.
But
It's gonna be
Yeah, we're
ridiculous.
not even gonna have to think for ourselves.
No.
I genuinely think I would trade it for 100 people in a village where I just have to contribute daily. You need me to go work on the farm? That's where I'm going to work. You need me to help build new housing, new whatever? That's where I'll help. Like, I think I would trade what we have today to just go back to that stuff.
Yeah, it goes
Where
against
my
my
cakes
religious
actually
beliefs.
had value. Like I could open a bakery and it would be good. It wouldn't. Like the biggest thing about caking actually took work. Baking took a lot of work, but it's an underappreciated business now and everyone's like, "Oh, those prices? I could get it cheaper from Walmart." Okay, enjoy Walmart's food.
Hey, that great value go hard though. Don't play on Walmart.
I
Oh,
ain't
no, she
disagreeing.
loves great value.
I'm a great value fucking buyer.
Hey, great value be on that shit though.
But she can make a bomb-ass cake with great value.
What?
But I also I wouldn't pay my cake prices either. That's why I started
No.
making cakes. Is because when I had kids, I'm like, okay, birthday cake time. What the fuck? That much for a cake? Oh, and then this cake at Walmart's just flat, and they can't even spell the kid's name right. All right, time to learn.
Time to get
Society,
to it.
technology, I guess, as a whole, is slowly but surely killing off trades.
Yes.
And it will as it continues to progress. I mean, it's just
Blacksmith used to be the most valuable
when they have
person.
robots that can build houses and replicate like all the framing of a house, and you can just, hey, I need you to do this job. This is the location. You literally have one person who programs them and says this and this and this and whatever data they need. They
Well, they
show
have
up and
3D
they start
printed a house
standing. Yeah, they have 3D
with
printed ones.
concrete. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I looked at what is it called? Aircrete.
Yeah.
And I found somebody who made Lego brick, and I was like, that is genius. Lego
Mhm.
bricks for
Mhm.
actual homes.
Mm.
And you can make it relatively inexpensive. I was looking into it because Aircrete is like cheaper because it's got air bubbles in it. So it's not
Mhm.
quite as strong, but it's much cheaper and super light. So a person can easily lift them or multiple.
Right.
So I don't know. I looked into it because I talked about building it.
This was our like hiatus of what's the next plan for the house? How many different things can we build our next house out of?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But
I stay in a tiny home. I like tiny homes.
We got too many damn kids for a tiny home.
I'd stay in a
Well,
tiny home unless if it weren't for the fact that like some of those things are more expensive than a fucking house. Like, dude, they're so pricey for nothing.
I really don't understand why they're so expensive.
Right.
But
We
there's
have
type in-
affordable housing.
Yeah, type affordable housing into Google and tiny homes and shit like that come up. But then when you actually look at the price of them, you're like, oh, for 400 square feet, it costs me 80 grand. And then
Yeah,
you start doing
dude.
the math, you're like, holy shit, that's like 2-3 times the cost of a home in square footage.
Yeah. We have a neighborhood here out by my grandparents that's none but tiny homes.
Yeah.
And I looked up one. I was curious. I was like, oh, I wonder how much it costs for one of those. Man, one of them tiny homes is over 100 grand. And I was like, I just don't really understand why.
And
Like,
we have a townhouse that we purchased for 121,000.
Yep.
like
3
what?
bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse.
Yep.
Like it just does. It never made sense to me. I was like, what am I paying for? A closet?
Pretty much.
Right. Well, it's fine if you're one person and they make them super nice on the inside, so they're all modern and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's appealing. But the reason they're charging 120 or so for a unit is because the cost of that unit was actually around 80. And then the people had to hook up the plumbing and the electricity, and that was maybe another 5 to 10 for all the shit they had to do. And then they're scraping 30K in profit off of each one
Yeah.
because the value of them is 127,000 is what it was estimated.
It blew my mind.
That's how they work with houses too, right? They build them up super fast. They have different ways of streamlining the process. That's why they come to you when you go to a builder and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in this model home." They're like, "Cool. What kind of accessories do you want? Do you want the kitchen to be like this, this, this? Because it's all of our cookie cutter options." And if you have enough money, you can fully customize that whole experience, right? But I don't know. It's laughable. I hate the fact that there is no affordable housing. Because having 4 kids plus us 2 plus wanting a place for my mom and Amanda's granny, I mean, that puts us at 8. And trying to have 8 rooms, good luck.
All right, everybody, that's where we're going to cut it off for today. See you guys every Friday. Just remember, it's more than cannabis and coffee. It's a mindset. Whether you see us or hear us, you're part of the crew, and we want to hear from you. So make sure to reach out via Facebook, X, or Instagram, which can be found at cannabiscoffeecrew.com.